Scenario 95 is that the new James Bond movie will receive one or more Oscar awards. I think this is very unlikely, and that is why I'm making it my first prediction. So let's do a recap. What's going on? A new James Bond movie is going to be released November 11th, and the next Oscars are going to be held in April next year. There are 24 Academy Awards, and the James Bond movie would qualify for about 17 of them. This is once you subtract away things like documentary awards, animated film, etc. So, historically, the James Bond films have done pretty poorly at the Academy Awards. They have won 5 awards over 26 films. So they won 2 for sound editing. Goldfinger and Skyfall won those. 2 for original song. This was Spectre and Skyfall, so the 2 most recent movies. And they also won a visual effects award for Thunderball. That means that 4 films out of 26 won Academy Awards, and I suspect this film here won't win any as well. So, there are a number of compounding factors, I think, which will make it unlikely to win. So if we just go on a historical basis, 4 films out of 26, that means that there's about a 15% chance that if you picked a random James Bond film, that it won an Academy Award. Now, I think this next one is going to have a lower than those sort of odds. And there are a number of compounding factors. I don't think this next James Bond movie will win visual effects. Why do I say that? Because Tenet has already been released. Dune is scheduled to be released. Tenet already was pretty remarkable in its visual effects with all this going backwards through time aspects. It was really enjoyable just for that part, even if you don't understand the plot. A few explosions from the James Bond film, I don't think are really going to rectify this. The second compounding factor is I don't think James Bond will win Best Original Song. Granted, I haven't heard any of the competition, but I have heard the Billie Eilish song, and while it is good, I think it will maybe sit a little bit in the shadow of Adele's absolute banger, and that will be problematic. Why do I think it's problematic? Well, I think Original Song is probably James Bond's most likely award. So they're going to really struggle if they can't get it, and I think they might not be able to get it, primarily because the Skyfall version was so good. My third factor is I suspect the James Bond movie will not win any acting awards. I don't think they'll win any acting awards. I suspect they won't win any awards for director. I think they're too hampered by what is sort of a format which will make it sort of unoriginal, uninspiring, and I think we're all maybe a little bit over Daniel Craig being the James Bond. Although I personally really liked Skyfall and Casino Royale. I thought they were great movies. They seem to be really hit and miss, right? So Quantum of Solace and Spectre were both relatively dreadful, I thought. Now, while there is some hope that this movie could be a runaway success, for instance, Kari Fukunaga, who directed the first season of True Detective, which I thought was a great TV show, he is the director here. I suspect because of the formatting, he won't really be able to get a lot of new things out of the characters. Consequently, because of this, I have low expectations for this James Bond movie, but of course, I hope I'm proven wrong. Daniel, what do you think?
Interesting. So, yeah, those are some good points, but I gotta admit, I definitely don't think this is 5%. I would put this actually like north of about 50%. Yeah, so I think my main reason for that is you mentioned that the last 2 movies both won Oscars for original soundtrack. So I feel like you should be kind of adjusting based on that, or like I guess one grouping which admittedly I heard from a friend's dad when I was 10, and I've just thought of James Bond movies in this way ever since, where it's you just group them by the actor who's playing James Bond, and using that metric then it would be closer to 50%. So yeah, I'd put it there.
Hold up, your friend's dad told you about a way to group James Bond films.
Yeah. How else do you figure out how to group James Bond movies?
Wow. He really distilled some words of wisdom there to a young Daniel.
I was impressionable. I was young. I don't know what you want from me, man.
I think it can go both ways, to answer your question. I think Skyfall and the Spectre song was maybe worse than the Skyfall song, just because the Skyfall song was so good, but it was a male voice instead. So I really think there's a shadow component here. Having said that,
yeah,
are there going to be any more amazing songs for different movies? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the soundtracks for the other movies, but yeah, I noticed you mentioned that it'll be compared to the Skyfall song, but isn't that kind of like the shtick of the James Bond songs? They've always got that same the same sort of sound. Like they do follow a pretty similar theme, and it's like clearly they don't care that much if it won the last two movies and it's won like 4 times before, for them all sounding fairly similar. So I don't know. I could see that. But also Billie Eilish has won 5 Grammys this year. So she is clearly just an A-grade singer. So and I also listened to the song and I thought it was a banger. So
okay. Oh my god. Okay, I need to get composed again. It's just such a classic, such a classic. Now, I love Billy, but, it's like, we both want to be, like, positive podcasters. I'm a big fan of Billie Eilish, but I don't think it will happen. Now,
yeah.
What do I think? I think that it's really down to just that particular award, right? There's really no other awards. Maybe some sound effects, visual effects. I think you agree with my statement, right? Because Tenet has been released.
Oh,
Tenet was pretty
100%.
amazing. That's just not going to happen. So
yeah,
it's really.
Yeah, I totally agree. The only award they can win is the original soundtrack one.
Yeah. So I guess fingers crossed for the girl, Billy.
Yeah, our fella. Yeah, I think the one thing I like about both of our predictions so far is I want both of them to happen.
Yeah, exactly. They're like positive outliers. These aren't like meteors hitting the Earth and causing another mass extinction.